Greetings fellow humans, I'm MartianBuu, and today's pocket video is on Alakazam Weezing. This is a rising star in the Pokemon Pocket meta. Weezing in particular is a really good Pokemon. It's a stage 1 with only 1 energy requirement, so it can take advantage of going first very well. It can deal damage without having to use an attack at all with Gas Leak. It has high health, and its dark typing allows it to pressure the popular meta deck Mewtwo EX really aggressively while it's trying to set up all of its stuff. Overall, I actually think Weezing is one of the best Pokemon in Pocket. The problem is finding the perfect partner for it. The other dark type Pokemon tend to be pretty underwhelming, so you have to pair it with something outside of dark, which is awkward because of how the energy zone works. But Weezing only requiring 1 energy and being able to deal damage even if it doesn't have an energy makes it one of the most flexible to dual type Pokemon outside of colorless. Alakazam is another Pokemon that's flexible with dual typing. For 1 Psychic and 2 colorless, it does 60 plus 30 for each energy on the defending Pokemon. Since it requires 2 colorless energy, you only have to hit 1 Psychic before the Alakazam can attack. 3 for 60 isn't much, but it adds up really quickly if your opponent has managed to get their attackers out. It's very common for your opponent's active Pokemon to have 2 energy on it. Pikachu requires 2, Starmie requires 2, Mewtwo and Charizard will have at least 2 after they use their big attack, and if they're still kind of powering themselves up or if they had surplus energy, you could be dealing 150 or more. So it makes a really good backup attacker for the Weezing. I had high hopes for this deck, but even with that, I was surprised at how good it felt. I think this deck is very real, and if you're looking for an anti-meta deck or an anti-EX deck, or specifically an anti-Mewtwo EX deck, this is a great choice. I hope you enjoy the games, and thank you so much for watching. I'm loving the new Pokemon channel. Mixing Pokemon and Wild Hearthstone is gonna be fun. Nice, nice. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching both channels, honestly. Hi Martian, is there any rewards for playing random matches? Feels bad when there's like no incentives at the moment. The reward is if you win, you get experience, and when you get, 20 wins worth of experience, you level up. I think it's 20, but I'm not quite sure. I think I'm gonna turn the audio down a little bit. Can you guys still hear it okay? All right, so I guess next time it feels out of sync, what I'll do is I'll just restart the program. Depending on if I win or lose, you'll play this game? Uh-oh. The stakes are high. All right, sick. All right, we're gonna get to attack with our Weezing. Of course, I watch both. You are the best content creator for Wild. I'm sure you're gonna be the best for this. Oh, thank you, friend. All right, here's Coughing. Evolve to Weezing. Chat, we're just chugging along here. Look at that. Alakazam. Okay, so I don't love this Alakazam. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like, it's the type of thing that I'd like to have one of, or like, I'd like to have one of these in real life, but I don't know about playing it in a deck, right? Like I like to be able to read my cards and it's pretty busy, but I actually only pulled the fancy one. So there we are. Although the image looks better, the vertical sync is sometimes a bit off. Yeah, like down here on the bottom half, it gets a little jarbled sometimes. I think it's an improvement over what I was using before, but I do agree that it's like a bit unfortunate that the quality isn't perfect. But yeah. Why would anyone ever need to read cards? You're so correct. I don't know what I was thinking. What am I even talking about anymore? I wonder why I keep lagging only in this stream. Is it something in my options? Yes, you have it set to MartianBuu, which I think is a strange choice, but if you want to have lag on the Boo channel, I guess you can do that. So Giovanni changes nothing, right? Okay, so 30, they take 40 on this turn, 10 coming back, so they'll be at 50. Then I pass, they take 10. Okay, so Giovanni sets it up so that I could allow them to get a knockout coming back to my turn, but it's not like they're gonna stay, right? So I'm just gonna hold on the Geo. And I did attach my energy, right? Cool. Don't you just play random cards and pray? That's my Hearthstone strategy. That's my Hearthstone strategy. I wonder if that would work in this too. Just protagonist energy our way to the top. Alright, there's Blastoise. I am completely unable to pull this thing. Alright, just completely unable. Is my Alakazam just gonna blow that thing to shreds? I guess it's only gonna do that if I get a Psychic energy, right? Like Dark's up next, the next one after has to be Psychic, or else it's bad news bears. If the next one shows Dark, I'll probably Koga and attack with my bench coughing. Nope, next one after that's Psychic, so we'll do this. I don't think it... I don't think it's worth Kogaing this, right? Because we'd still just be sending up a coughing to die, so it would just be to make sure that I have a Weezing in my hand. Is that worth it? I don't know, I think we just win. It's gonna be really hard to lose from here, pretty sure. Because, like, okay, Alakazam's already dealing 140 damage. Have you ever used Abra's attack? Yeah, when I go second and start with Abra, I'll usually use Abra's attack to switch into coughing. It's a way to be able to attach and get Abra out of the active position without giving up an energy. You don't have to waste next speed in that spot either. And then Alakazam just blows through the opponent now, right? Like, it just, Psychic deals so much damage, so it's already dealing 150, that's crazy. Alakazam is pretty strong. I underestimated it for sure. I underestimated Alakazam. Hi Marshy, it's me, your #1 Hearthstone and Pokemon fan. Hope you're doing well. Hope I'm doing swell this fine, whatever time it is for you right now. Hey Rhaegar, thank you so much. I hope you're doing swell. Alright, so we'll start with coughing. And I give this start a P+. I don't love that our first energy isn't dark, but we have a Kadabra and coughing active, so yeah, I like the fact that we don't have a Weezing yet is a problem. The fact that we don't have darkness starting is a problem, but you know, overall I think it could be worse. All right, there's Articuno. This is why I got contacts, chat. I can't stand cleaning glasses. I'm so over it. Can't wait to get my broader. So like the contacts I had before were just like a week's worth to kind of get a sense of them. And I'm still waiting on the bulk of them. I'm not gonna like wear them every stream, right? But you know, like, see, I sat here wiping my glasses for a while and they're still smudgy, so I have to go back and do a second round. I hate doing this all the time. So it's really nice if I'm gonna go out somewhere and not have to worry about wiping my glasses ever. It's pretty good. Plus, right now, when I go out, I have sunglasses and glasses. So I have to have a case to have the other one. So if my sunglasses are on my face, then my regular glasses are in the case. And I have to switch them out manually, which gets a little stupid, and I don't like the glasses case is a little bit bulky. So, but if I have contacts, I just have to have the sunglasses, which I basically just keep in my car. So when I'm wearing contacts, I put sunglasses on while I'm in the car, and then if I'm going in somewhere, I can just leave the sunglasses in the car slot. And if I'm going to be walking around, I'll have them on my face, and if I go in somewhere, I just hang them on my neck like I used to before I used to... At this point, I think we're better off trying to get Alakazam going, like hoping to top deck Alakazam. So like before I had glasses and I would just wear sunglasses. When I wasn't using my sunglasses, I would just hang them on my neck. And now I can just do that again. You know, like I don't have to wear the case because I don't have two different glasses things. So anyways, I guess, you know what? I could walk around with my sunglasses on my neck and my regular glasses on my face and just switch them. It's just weird to have glasses on and glasses on your neck. I just packed my 4th Charizard EX. I just want Moltres EX. I have like literally 12 Pikachu EX while I was hunting for Blastoise, and I still have 0. So, relatable. Double glasses meta. All right, if we don't find Alakazam soon, if we do find out, like, as soon as we find Alakazam, the game's just over, right? Like, my goodness. That is not Alakazam. I don't know why I set that up either, because, like, I don't know, because I'm weird. Yeah, let's retreat this out. We can poison. And then it probably survives, and we can Koga next turn if we top deck Alakazam. I guess if we top deck Professor's Research, right, that would be bad. To have Koga active. Or to have Weezing active. Because then we can't Koga and Research in the same turn. Why did my opponent attach extra energy to the Articuno? It's interesting. Still no Alakazam? Research into no Alakazam, I think, is still worse. Yeah, the fact that they didn't attach to Golduck means that, yeah, I can just knock him out with Super Cybo. Like, attach to the Articuno again for my funnies. Like, why wouldn't you attach to the Golduck? So strange. Okay, so they wanted to confuse me? Well, they're gonna knock me out with the Psyduck. I see. Alright. They're putting us in a position to where we're just gonna straight up lose to Sabrina if we don't top deck Alakazam here. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're a gem. You're actually just a gem. Find the Alakazam. Oh, what a nice human. Okay, so the bad thing here is they can Sabrina us, right? Like if they have Sabrina, it's just Jover. Stupid stage 2 decks. I guess I never should have benched the Abra. Maybe. Ladina Laviana, thank you so much for the Prime, my friend. How are you? I literally found 3 Blastoise EX while hunting 2 Pikachu EX. Still only have 1 Pika. Can't wait for trading. I know. Opponent, don't have Sabrina. Come on. It's rude. It's stupid. All right. Only I'm allowed to have Sabrina. You have Golducks in your deck, right? You don't have room for Sabrina. Although we've only seen Golducks in Articuno, right? They might not have Starmie. Ooh. Do they not have Sabrina and they were just kind of like gonna retreat the Golduck if they top decked it? That's probably what happened here. Bench Abra play is better for an early Sabrina. Yes, but I had the other stuff. Should I put a fossil in this? I could put a fossil in this. The thing is, like, I don't have too many filler cards. I would be cutting like a Giovanni, probably. To have just one fossil to be Sabrina protection, and then to discard in this position where it would be bad for me. When they don't have any energy, it's a little bit of a disaster, huh? This is, hey, thank you so much for the 27 months, Praise Chicken Drumstick. How are you? By the way, you said before that only EX Pokemon had 2 attacks, but wouldn't you consider the Lapras, for example, has kind of 2 attacks? Mm-hmm. Yep, I've said that before at some point, that Lapras is like functionally 2 attacks. Why don't they have 1 for 20, 4 for 90? But I think it's so that they can just have only 1 attack on any non-EX. The way the Lapras works is it's 1 for 20, and it has 70 bonus damage if it has 3 extra energy on it. So is my opponent just accepting their fate? They could have stalled for more time. I'll take it. Get riggedy rigged. But I mean, like, technically it only has 1 attack. It has 1 attack that deals bonus damage, but I agree that it functionally has 2 attacks, like it might as well. Like the Blastoise EX and the Lapras, and the regular Blastoise too, right? Like, I understand for the Blastoise, because the Blastoise does have a first attack, right? It has a completely separate attack. So as far as card space goes, it benefits them to have the 2 break points be in the same card. But the way that those Hydro Pump attacks work in the paper card game is it deals bonus damage for each energy beyond what you need to use the attack. So like, it's not just 2 modes, it's like multiple modes, and that makes sense. But when it's just this does this amount of damage for this energy and this amount of damage for this energy, it is functionally 2 attacks. So why don't you just have 2 attacks? But I think that they just want as a rule that EX Pokemon are the only way that you get to have 2 attacks, so they throw that on Lapras so it can functionally have 2 attacks. I don't know. Would be funny extra 20 heads on Blastoise EX. Okay, so like the first Blastoise, the first Hydro Pump attacks, they had 2 bonus modes. It was 3 for 40 plus 10 for each up to 2. So it did 3 for 40, 4 for 50, 5 for 60. Which you could have 3 attacks, but they hadn't added 3 attacks on a Pokemon yet. But also it had an ability too. So anyways, like that's at least somewhat modular. They could have done in this one, you know, 3 for 100, 4 for 120, 5 for 160 or whatever it works like. But for whatever reason they chose not to. Like they could still cap it but not have it 2 modes is my point. Would you ever change your streaming layout to include the deck list? As soon as I can do that and not have to manually make a deck list to show, I would do that. But having to tinker with it so that I have to like manually adjust something every time I change a card, like that just sounds too clunky. And even just, I don't know, as soon as I add something highly manual like that, it takes a lot of fun out of streaming. And I need to be having fun in order for this to be good content, right? So that's my thoughts on that. And also, here comes the poison. So one of the big good things about Weezing is that it's a dark type to deal extra damage to the Mewtwo deck. Like Mewtwo is getting absolutely obliterated by this Weezing for 1 psychic or for 1 dark energy. Do you think Pokedex would be good when Rank comes out? Muck is way too hard to power up. I think it's kind of bad. Do you have any good Gengar EX decks you've tried out, Marshy? I have one on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's a Gengar Farfetch'd. I don't know that I'd call it good, but I think it's about as good as you can do for a Gengar deck. Gengar is a little awkward because it needs Gardevoir to be able to attack, but having two stage 2s is really tricky. So depending on how they add in support for multiple evolutions, we could see like a Gengar Gardevoir deck work in the future. But it's going to take a card release, not just ranked mode. So rude. Well, this is a bit of a pickle, I guess. Because before they just did that, we were going to knock out this Mewtwo just by passing. Mewtwo's really popular. I wish I opened Weezing. Word. They should Sabrina to kill my Abra. Oh, so they can Psychic Sphere, but does that matter? I hope I pull the other Coughing. If I pull the other Coughing, yeah, I could even knock it out. So that'd be good. But also, I don't want my Alakazam to die to a Sabrina here. Poo. Alright, well. If they have Sabrina, I am in trouble, yeah. I'm gonna, like, if you guys remind me, I'll cut a Giovanni for a Fossil. Like, just one for Sabrina protection. That seems like it'd be good. Evo Soda Prage? Yeah, here's hoping. Here's hoping. Are they gonna retreat? Because if that's the case, I want a Sabrina. Red card. Aw, that didn't give me a Coughing or a Sabrina. But yeah, that would have helped me. Oh my goodness. I think you're supposed to retreat there, right? And just like chill with the Gardevoir for a second. So if they'd sent up, like they should have side shadowed the active Mewtwo, right? And retreated it. And sent up Gardevoir with 1 energy on it. Because Gardevoir with 1 energy on it, Alakazam can't knock it out. And then next turn, attach and use Psy Shadow to knock out Abra if that's still active. And then I come up with Alakazam, knock out the Gardevoir, and then they can finish me off with the Mewtwo EX. But just like leaving Mewtwo EX active doesn't seem like there's any upside to it. How do you feel about the play/draw in Pocket so far, Martian? It feels super lopsided to me so far, but I don't know if it's mainly limited to card pull. I think it is limited by card pull. When they add more trainers specifically for evolving consistency, I think the way this game feels is going to change dramatically. I think it's going to be way better. So this game was going to get decided by Sabrinas if my opponent played differently, but since they played into my, played right into my hands, we won for sure. I think we were still gonna win unless they had a Sabrina, but could have been closer. Hope they made more ways to get tickets. And you get a ton in the you get a ton from the solo adventures, and you get 5 every day. So if you're playing regularly, you should be able to get most Hourglass stuff, but yeah. Up against Dragonite. Dragonite gets like crazy killed by Abra. I would love... Still, I keep forgetting to add that fossil. Anyways, I would love to have a Weezing. What's the point of thanking people now? When you get thanked, you get a ticket until you've earned 5 tickets that way during a day. So everyone needs to be thanking each other for everyone to get 5 tickets, you know what I mean? So you don't get anything necessarily if you thank, but you know, it's just doing your civic duty. I guess is what it is. Like, everyone needs to be thanking everyone for everyone to be able to get 5 tickets with the least amount of effort is what it is. So I think that's a little bit of a cringe system. Like, I think thanks should have a mutual benefit, right? Like, you know, maybe at least your first thanks you get, like, that you get a ticket during a day. Oh, I still have it on the bazaar. Hold on. I haven't changed my Twitch category. No, I did. I did change my Twitch category. Now it shows... Did I just not click save? That's funny. I don't know. I just need to draw Alakazam and my opponent loses. Alakazam is a little interesting in that sense. Huh. This deck is way better than I thought it was going to be, by the way. Like, just Alakazam as a Pokemon I think is way better than I gave it credit for. So yeah, I think, like, making it so that your opponent getting a shop ticket is based off of whether or not you thank them adds a lot of room for people to be bitter, right? Like, you just get to say, this is really funny, my opponent hasn't rolled a water yet, so they're just stuck on that. So if you play a game and you lose, you could be like, I'm not thanking you, meh, 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 meh. And then, like, they don't get a ticket. But I mean, there's a lot of ways that someone can thank you. They can thank you out of the Wonder Pick, you know, passively. They can thank you after a battle. They can thank you, or like you can say nice or something when you see somebody's collection. Something's to, oh, they still have lightning to go. Opponent is getting brutalized. Opponent is getting absolutely brutalized, chat. Should I just attack them with Alakazam? I should have attached the Psychic Energy active and then retreated. That was stupid of me. I don't think it's gonna matter, because like, we know that they can't knock out Kadabra next turn because they have Lightning coming up next. So like, what are they gonna do? Lose to me? I think so. Kadabra's broken. This is Kadabra Coughing archetype, all right? That's all you need. You just need a Kadabra and Coughing, and then you sweep. Then you sweep, chat. You sweep. The little Coughing that could, yeah. Weezing with the finisher is way better than you thought. Yeah, Weezing is cracked. Weezing is fantastic. He just needs something else to go with him, and Alakazam makes a great partner, I think. I'm sorry. Coughing is cracked. He just needs a good finisher, Kadabra. All right, that's the game we just played. Plus, you got the pretty Pikachu art. Yeah, but I could play any Pikachu deck with my pretty Pikachu art. But yeah, I really like that deck. Specifically the one with the Lieutenant Surge package, I think is really fun. I think as far as like the most rewarding to play, I think it's Dragonite builds and Pikachu EX with Lieutenant Surge stuff. Those are my 2 decks that I think have the most replay potential. That probably is, dude. All right. Starting Psychic, Bad News Bears. Going first, Bad News Bears. We get an Abra at least? One time? Sick. At least our Psychic Energy won't go to waste. Oh, okay, like, it's gonna be so easy for them to add an item that switches which energy in your energy pool is offered, and it's gonna be so good for dual type decks. Dual type decks are gonna love that card. I'm never adding a fossil to this, I guess. I just can't remember to do it. Also, I'm kind of like, you know, do we run 2 Koga in this? Koga is, I think as far as saving the life of a Weezing, I don't think Koga is useful for that. Like, it's nice that it can flex to that if it wants to stall for more time, but I don't think that's going to be relevant a lot of the time. I think the reason you run Koga is to get your Weezing out of the active position when you need to attack with Alakazam, because you're never retreating the Weezing, right? So, oh, too bad. Like, if you get the psychic, if you get the dark energy for the Weezing, he just chunks. But anyways, when I don't know if I was in the middle of a thought or not. Unlucky. I had somebody criticize me stopping mid-sentence to like make a move in one of my recent video comments. Oh, they really like, they came back and commented a second time. They commented first. They're like, I can't stand how you don't finish the sentence. Like it takes 40 minutes for you to finish a sentence. You'll like say something, stop halfway, come back 40 minutes later, and then they came back and commented again to say, oh my goodness, I can't watch your videos, just finish the sentence. So I was criticized for that, and in this particular case, I'm not sure I finished my thought or not, because I got busy with the game and I was swept up by the winds of time. What are the point of the fossil cards? I have no idea how to use them. The idea behind them is you have stupid bonus deck slots anyway that are getting used for filler, like stupid red card. So instead of running garbage like that, what you can do is you can play the fossils, put them on your bench so that when your opponent Sabrina's you can send up the fossil. Okay, so there's this benching Pokemon to play around Sabrina. There is an upside and a downside. If you do it early, it means you have something else to send up if they Sabrina you early, so that you don't have to send up the Pokemon that you're powering up. But if you do that later on in the game, when you have your powered up Pokemon active, they can Sabrina around it to take their final point. So there's a positive and a negative to benching an extra basic, but the fossils allow you to discard them. So when your opponent Sabrina's you to try to get your main attacker off the bench, you can send up the fossil and lose the fossil instead of your main attacker. But when you get your main attacker powered up, you can just discard the fossils and there's no longer anything for your opponent to Sabrina and take an easy prize off, an easy point off of. So that's the idea of the fossils. I do love me the Articuno Dragonite deck. It was the first somewhat competitive deck I got all the cards for. I think it's nuts. Like, it's really fun. Like, fun-wise. I don't know how competitively viable it is. It's funny, I'm so used to BM in Hearthstone, and I do it in Pocket. I've lost many things because of it. Unlucky. Hello, Marshy. I just recently got into Pocket. Really, it's a cool game. It's pretty fun, huh? Streamer, the DBZ name leaves people on cliffhanger. Streamer with the DBZ name leaves people on cliffhangers. Who'd have thought? Yeah, true. You're supposed to praise Helix? Oh yeah. I do like the Helix fossil. I think like the art is the most fun of the arts for fossils, so it's the one I was using. Does this one-shot that? It does not. So I'm not going to worry about it. It's like the one psychic Pokemon that isn't weak to dark. So I'll Sabrina. Can finally attack with my Weezing, but the dark weak Pokemon has retreated. They hard retreated too. Look at their bench full of no energy. Disaster for them. It is kind of funny that like Clefable is supposed to be weak to poison, but it's not. Like, this is a dark Pokemon and Mewtwo is not supposed to be weak to poison. So it was a funny, like, just as far as things making sense, it's a little awkward to have poison in the dark type. I'll say that much. Oh, I could have poisoned and then attacked with Alakazam. You're so smart. I'm so stupid. You know what? Yep. I guess I think knocking out a Haunter is better for the progression of the game than knocking out a Clefable, but nah, I think you're right. Your play was better. Your play was better. I made a doo-doo. Marshy Stew, back at it again. But Raid card is the best card ever. My opponent always plays it when my hand is the nuts and always doesn't play it when my hand is bricked. Tackle, the normal move, used by a poison Pokemon Weezing, dealing 30 dark damage. Yep, that's how it is. That's how it goes. Poison should have been super effective against Psychic from the start in Gen 1, in your opinion. But Psychic is super effective against Poison. Should Psychic be weak to Poison? So now we have the opportunity. Yeah, we put this for just Sabrina protection, right? This is a weird match. What up, Tooncar? Howdy doody. Howdiest dudious. Give me some Psychic with Grass weakness, Justice for Bug. Real and true. The dark Pokemon in the card game lately, dark Pokemon that are actually dark tend to be weak to Grass. For that reason. But yeah, I don't... Other than... Like, Gardevoir EX, the first one, was weak to Grass. But that's because the first EXs had 2 weaknesses. Maybe not the first EXs. I think the original EXs from Ruby Sapphire only had the 1 weakness. But like, once they started making good EXs, they usually had 2 weaknesses. So, Blaziken was weak to Water, which is what it would normally be, but it was also weak to Psychic. So it had its fighting weakness too. And Gardevoir was weak to Psychic, which is what most Psychic Pokemon were weak to Psychic because Ghost is represented by Psychic. So it had that weakness, and it also had Grass. And that's the only time I can think of a Psychic Pokemon having the Bug weakness on it, is when they were doing double weakness in Ruby Sapphire era. Alright, well, I'm going to Koga this Weezing after I poison. Alright, we get to do the... Can you imagine if I'd missed the play again? But yeah, here, we get to redeem ourselves. Look at us go. EX having 2 weaknesses would be better in Pocket. Yeah, I think the Ruby Sapphire era of EXs was the only time 2 prizes have ever been implemented, and it's been good for the game. Every other time, like Black and White EX, 2 prize EXers really like started the game on a negative path, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think GX was maybe a step in the right direction, and Tag Team was a step in the wrong direction, but yeah. And V, I know, has definitely brought us to the point we're at now, where everything's just kind of stupid. I don't know. Did I forget to attach an energy? I don't think it matters at this point. But yeah. I mean, I still should have, right? To your point. Especially because if I'd attached to Alakazam, I give myself the option to do X speed and retreat this time. I really wish I could turn on just that reminder. I know it would drive me crazy to have the supporter reminder every time, but so like that's why I don't turn the reminders back on, but I really wish I could turn on just the energy reminder. This game was not played very well by me, all right? I'm sorry, chat. I don't think that last part mattered too much, but yeah, would have been nice to knock out the Clefable. And I do think I am going to retreat my Alakazam for this Weezing, right? So they'll have 2 energy on the Mewtwo, which means it'll take 120. If I deal 50 damage, 60, so if I don't have a Giovanni in my hand. So I can't like set this thing up to die coming back to my turn, unfortunately. Yeah, I guess I'll get this out of the active spot because I need it for whatchamacallit. They haven't taken any points yet, right? So we have some wiggle room. Playing around the enemy's Alakazam. Oh yeah, they do have a Jinx. All right, I'm brilliant. I'm amazing. Every energy skipped is I'm brilliant. I'm only forgiven if I win. All right, sick. I think I'm gonna win. I think. It would help if I had a Koga, right? It would also help if I had Dark Energy next. It would help if I hadn't skipped that Dark Energy attachment. So I guess it did matter. It did matter. But because they don't have a Gardevoir, right? If they come up and attack with Mewtwo now to knock out Weezing, then there's a whole turn they have to skip before they can knock anything out. So to that end, I probably shouldn't evolve the benched Coughing. Unless I end up with a Koga off the top. I keep thinking Fuji, I don't know why. Mr. Fuji in the card game was effectively an item, like as far as how the mechanics of it worked. Oh, this was a decision. How do I feel about this? I feel like I'm going to Sabrina and either take that Haunter knockout to win the game or get a big head start on this Mewtwo. That's pretty good for me that they sent up the Jinx, I think. If I had a Koga, I would have won the game, right? Because I could have just switched into Alakazam. So, Mr. Fuji would shuffle one of your benched Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck, is what it would do. So it's kind of similar to Koga. Like you could Mr. Fuji something. Does the Paper TCG have attacks like U-Turn or Volt Switch? It does. It has lots of things like that. A lot of them have been good. Like there was a Politoed EX deck that was called Punch and Run. Its attack was called Punch and Run. And it did like 3 for some reasonable amount of damage and go to the bench. A lot of those are good because there are effects that only take effect when the Pokemon is active. So like while this Pokemon is active, basic Pokemon have 1 more attack in their, or 1 more energy requirement. Or like while this is active, your opponents of all Pokemon have no abilities, you know, that type of stuff. Or while this is active, this Pokemon takes or just like this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks by Pokemon EX, right? So like Mimikyu in modern TCG has that. So what you can do is you can attack with your big attacker and switch it out for something like Mimikyu that's harder for your opponent to knock out, or to like a item disruption thing. Or ability disruption, rather. Although there was an item disruption one. There was a Trevenant that locked items while it was active. So yeah, decks have existed like that. I can't deal 110 damage. I think I'm going to retreat this Coughing. And attack with my Weezing. My opponent's still in a really bad spot. It's funny, they're able to buy a lot of time, but like, to what end? How are they gonna win this? They still need 3 points. I can still lose 2 things. Sounds cool, but then Snatcher type effects are way more prevalent, aren't they? Yeah, like the gust effects, boss's orders. Yeah, I think TCG is kind of plagued with that right now. That's why those decks don't end up being any good. Like, there was a Reggie Alecki that had 1 for I think 30, and then it would go to the bench, and then it had a VMAX it could turn into that all of your basic lightning Pokemon dealt 30 bonus damage. So you would try to get out one of those and as many of the evolved one as you could on your bench to deal like, you know, 90, 120 damage, and then retreat out for like Klefki, which makes it so that while it's active, basic Pokemon don't have abilities. And that was a really good strategy, except that, to your point, there's so much you get to pick one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and just move them active in the paper TCG right now that like those types of decks can't really exist because there's too many efficient ways to choose which of your opponent's bench Pokemon to be active. So yeah, it's a bit of a wash. Those attacks exist, but they tend not to be good for that reason.